Prettiers, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new here. My name is Emma and I'm so happy you clicked on my What's for Dinner video. I hope you like it. We'll give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you are not already. Let's just jump right on in to this week's What's for Dinner video. Our first meal, I am making a reverse shepherd's pie. I think technically it's called cottage pie, but I've always called it, or my family has always called it, shepherd's pie. And I'm naming it reverse shepherd's pie because I'm gonna cook the ground beef and the mashed potato, but I'm gonna do the mashed potato at the bottom of the bowl and then put the ground beef over top, and I'm not gonna bake it. Basically lazy shepherd's pie slash cottage pie. Maybe that's what I'll call it. I'm gonna start by browning up my ground beef. Ground beef is in. We can also call it lazy shepherd's pie because I'm going to use a packet of mashed potato. I love these things. The ground beef has browned up. Now I'm gonna add a tablespoon of minced garlic, some mushrooms that I just cleaned. And we're just gonna let the garlic and mushrooms cook up for about 5 minutes. Now for the mashed potato, I have 2 cups of water that I'm gonna bring to a boil. The mushrooms have cooked up, and now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of gravy granules, a cup of water, give that a stir. I'm gonna add half of this 14-ounce can of corn that I just drained. Give that a stir. Just gonna pop the lid on and let it cook up while we make the mashed potato. The water is boiling. I'm gonna add the mashed potato. A little stir. Turn the heat down to low. Now I'm gonna add a splash of milk. Stir, stir, stir. Butter. Stir that in. Then we'll give it a taste, see if we need to add more butter. I gave it a taste. It's delicious. We're just gonna turn the heat off. Now we're just gonna let the meat cook for another 5 minutes. Here's the leftover corn. I'm just gonna put it in the fridge for another night. And then here it is all served up. Mashed potato at the bottom, and then the ground beef and gravy on top. And guess what I'm gonna top it off with? You are so smart, you guessed it, some cheese. And that's it. Super fast and delicious. For tonight's dinner, we are gonna throw together a little sheet pan meal. I have some Bar S hot links here. We have a green bell pepper, onion, some potatoes, squash, zucchini, mushroom, and some cherry tomatoes, or some grape tomatoes. I'm gonna start by cutting up my potatoes because we're gonna cook them first, they take longer. So I'm gonna cut up the potatoes. Okay, the potatoes have been cut up. I'm going to drizzle them with some olive oil. Season them with some Slap Your Mama. Give them a little shake, shake, shake. I'm going to spray my baking sheet here with some avocado oil. Why does it make that sound? Then we're just going to throw the potatoes up. They're on a single layer. I'm gonna throw them in the oven. My oven has preheated to 375. We're gonna throw them in and cook them for 15 minutes. While the potatoes cook up, I'm going to cut up my squash and zucchini. Squash and zucchini are done. Put them to the side. Now I'm going to wash my mushrooms. Mushrooms are done. Now the bell pepper. Bell pepper is done. Now the tomato. Gonna wash them real quick. Tomatoes are done. And now for the onion. And there's the onion. And then I just cut up 5 of the bar S hot links. These have been cooking up for 15 minutes. Give me a little stir. Okay, now we're gonna nicely place everything else on the sheet paper. Ran out of room. So we're just gonna, the onion and the tomatoes, they cook up pretty fast. So I'll just make room for my mushrooms right there. Wash my hands. I'm gonna drizzle it with a little bit of olive oil. And I'm just gonna season up my veggies with some of the Slap Your Mama seasoning that we used on our potatoes. I'm not going to put it on the hot links as they're already spicy. And then now I'm just going to put this in my oven and we're gonna cook it at 400 degrees for 25 minutes. Here it is out of the oven. And then here it is all served up. I just have some Dave's Killer Bread and butter with mine, and then my husband just has his regular white home pride bread and butter with his. And that's it. Delicious. For tonight's dinner, we are just gonna make some meatball subs. So I'm gonna throw my meatballs into my slow cooker with some of this Great Value tomato, basil, garlic pasta sauce. Cook it on low for 6 hours. And goes the meatballs and the marinara. Pop the lid on, low. It only goes, the lowest is 6 hours, so we're just gonna say 6 hours. Voila. And then once the meatballs are done, I'm just gonna serve it up on this Great Value garlic bread and top it off with some Monterey Jack cheese. Actually, my husband will probably have Colby Jack and I'll have Monterey Jack. Super simple and super fast and delicious. These are the meatballs I use. They're just the Great Value home style meatballs. When the meatballs were nearly done, I think they had like 15 minutes left cooking time, I started cooking up my garlic bread. I just cut it down the middle, put it on my baking sheet, and we're gonna cook it at 400 degrees for 8 minutes. Then once the meatballs and the garlic bread were done, I just kind of took a spoon and did a little indentation in the bread so the meatballs would fit a little bit better. I just made like a little well for the meatballs. Then on go the meatballs. Once the meatballs were on, it was time to put the cheese on. I was just going to do Colby Jack on my husband's side and Monterey Jack on mine, but I decided just to do a little bit of both cheeses all over the meatball subs. Once the cheese was on, I just sprinkled a little bit of Italian seasoning on the other side of the garlic bread. I closed it up and then we're just gonna bake this at 350 for 5 minutes, just until the cheese melts. And then here it is all served up. I didn't serve anything up on the side with it because we weren't super hungry, but this was absolutely delicious. For tonight's dinner, I put 1 boneless, skinless chicken breast into my slow cooker with about a half a cup of chicken broth. Put the lid on it, and we're going to slow cook this on low for 6 hours. To go with my chicken tacos, I'm going to make my lazy pico. All I do is add a half of a purple onion to my little chopper. And all you do is just turn that little handle, and the little blade that's inside kind of just chops it up for you. Then I added 3 Roma tomatoes that I roughly diced up, and then we're just going to throw them in and give them a little chop, chop, chop. Then I cut up and threw in some cilantro. Then I added the juice of 2 limes. And then I added a little bit of salt. This is unnecessary, but I always like throwing in just a little bit of salt into my pico. Then once it was done, I just put it into a bowl, and then I gave it a little taste, and I decided to add a little bit of jalapeno juice as well to give it a little kick. Then I just put it into my refrigerator until we were ready to use it on our tacos. Okay, it's been 6 hours. My chicken is done, so I just had my husband shred it up for me. Once the chicken was shredded, I just left it in my slow cooker base and added some of this roasted Poblano salsa on top of the chicken. Gave it a little stir, stir, stir. Then I popped the lid back on and just let the salsa warm through for about 5 minutes. While the salsa was warming up, I just heated up some tortillas. On our tacos, I just did a layer of the chicken. Next, I did some of my lazy pico. Then some cheese. Then I finished it off with some sour cream. And that's it. Here it is, all served up. Delicious. And that concludes this week's What's for Dinner video. I hope you guys liked it. We'll give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you on Friday for my Soup of the Week video. Have a fabulous week. Bye.